This is the second in a series of 7 videos that will show you how to solve genetics problems like the ones in your lab manual. You've learned already to use a tool called a Punnett square to solve genetics problems. Punnett squares are great when you are given information about 2 parents and you are asked to predict the chances that their children will turn out a certain way. But there's another tool that can be very useful for some genetics problems. It's the pedigree chart, which looks like a family tree. You should use a pedigree chart if the problem gives you information about lots of family members, like mom, dad, grandparents, brothers, sisters, and so on, because the pedigree chart will help you organize all of that information. Let's look at a problem involving a pedigree chart. This problem is about Huntington's disease, which causes a progressive deterioration of the nervous system, eventually leading to insanity and death. It says symptoms do not appear until a person is in his late 30s or early 40s, and that it is due to a dominant gene, capital H. So we should begin by making a list of letters. Capital H for the Huntington's gene, and that means we'll use a small h for normal. You should always make a list of letters that the problem is using. As you read on, you see that several different family members are mentioned: Clarence, his wife, 2 older sisters, and his father. Since all of these people are mentioned, we'll want to use a pedigree chart. We begin by drawing a square for Clarence. Males are represented by squares. And we color it in to show that he has the disease that the problem is talking about. Then we use a circle for his wife, who is normal, and we connect them to show that they are married. It says Clarence has 2 older sisters, so I need to show them and then show their parents. His father had Huntington's, so his square is shaded. Now I'm going to try to write genotypes underneath each of the squares and circles. Everyone who doesn't have Huntington's, that is, everyone whose symbol is not shaded, must not have any capital H's. They must each have 2 small h's. So I'll fill those in. Then everyone with Huntington's must have at least 1 capital H that made them that way. But I don't know, just from hearing that someone has Huntington's, what their second letter is, so I'm just going to put blanks for now. Well, next, by looking at what I've written so far, I should be able to fill in the blanks. Since that father at the top had 2 daughters, each of which has 2 small h's, and because they had to get one of those small h's from each of their parents, I know that the father must have had a small h as his second letter. And looking at Clarence, he had to have received a small h from his mom. That's all she had to give him. There, I've successfully drawn the pedigree chart. I've shown the phenotype just by shading in the symbols for each person, and the genotype by writing letters under the symbols of each person who's mentioned. Notice that the last sentence of this problem asks, what are the chances that Clarence's children will develop Huntington's disease? To answer that, you're going to have to switch to a Punnett square. But you're a Punnett square master by now, right? So go ahead and try it. And also try the other pedigree chart problems that are in your lab manual.